Today on Talk About That, John has a run-in with a sea lion and searches for a less political pillow company. Meanwhile, I'm a proud member of the Clean Plate Club, and I'm relieved when John cuts his sermon short. Also, a conversation on post-Christianity and whether self-actualization is really its own religion in many ways. Today's episode is not sponsored by meetings. Do you have too much time in your day? Want to hang out with coworkers around a table for hours while accomplishing very little? Try meetings. Let's go.
It's another Monday, Johnny. Another Talk About That.
We out here. We back.
Man, we are here. It's been a long week since the last time that we
Don't talk to me about
recorded.
long week. You went on a boat.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying a lot's happened. A lot's happened since then. So
That's not how you say. People don't say long week when they had a good week, though.
you can have a long, good week.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
See, I think that speaks to the
You're
way that
you're
humanity
ridiculous.
sees the world
If
outside
you
of the
saw somebody in the
goodness of
store
God.
and then you go, "How are things?" They go, "It's been a long week." "Oh, where'd you go?" "I was on a ship. We went. It was an all-inclusive
was in
boat
the
ride to
Bahamas.
the
It was
Bahamas.
awesome.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
But it was long. Like, I mean,
I think what I meant was it's been eventful. How about that? It's
your privilege is showing, bro. Because
Yeah.
I can't. No,
Yeah.
you're fine.
well, you're a big cruiser too. So
I've done two.
didn't you
I
do
don't know if
comedy
they've
on a
big-
cruise once?
I did comedy on a cruise, a Lifeway cruise to Alaska.
Oh,
That was like a big one because when you start comedy, it's like you do a lot of like, "Hey, sweetie, you want to ride with me to Columbia, Tennessee? I'm going to do comedy in a bowling alley, and if I win, we get $100." Like it's a contest. I did that one time. There was a bar attached to a bowling alley, and it was an open mic, and the winner gets $100, and I did not win. And you know what? No one won because we gave our night to Columbia, Tennessee bowling alley. But anyway,
Not a
when
sponsor.
when you get to the point in your career where you can go, they're going to pay me,
yeah.
and we get to go 7 nights to Alaska
a big
on a
deal.
boat. That's a cool thing. The other one we did was like I wasn't doing comedy on it. It was like a carnival, very 80s. There was a lot of neon and crushed velvet on that ship. I don't think it had been updated in a while.
I think that's the same boat we went on our 15th.
Yeah, there was a lot of conga lines and watered down drinks. I mean, I don't drink, but it was just there was a lot of people complaining about the alcohol there. I remember that.
Oh,
About the quality of the alcohol.
yeah. Yeah, because did I tell you the story when I was on a cruise ship? We decided to take a carnival our 15th, and
Can't hide money because, of course, they're begging people to go now. It's like, listen, just get on the boat. You won't get COVID, we swear.
I got to hey, listen, my travel agent helped me secure a second room
Yeah.
for only like $300.
Wow.
It was adjoining with an adjoining balcony.
Who's your travel agent, John?
That'd be Jeffrey Holland with Travelmation. And tell you guys, for all of your travel needs,
I would say not a sponsor, but he technically is a sponsor because he's helped us so much that
right,
it's almost a paid sponsorship.
he is producing this right now.
He's the best person we know.
But he is a great travel agent as well.
Absolutely.
And so
Everybody got a side hustle now, y'all.
man, don't
Got
we
to
though?
in these streets.
It's hard out here. I was telling Sadie the other day the story of our kid in Knoxville,
Yeah.
out in the rural areas of Knoxville,
Straw Plains.
who believed he was, and not that there's not gangs and stuff in Knoxville. I'm not trying to besmirch,
He was not in a gang.
the urban culture
Yeah.
of Knoxville.
But this was a 5'3" white kid.
He had a true belief
Yeah.
that he was like, whatever rap songs he was listening to, he had a true belief that he was in that scene.
Yeah.
And so he walked in one night, remember, and he was like, dude, man, it's hard out here in the East Coast.
Yeah.
And we were like, you don't live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You
You live in
live in
Straw Plains, Tennessee.
Like right near the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
Like it's hot out here in Appalachia.
It is.
That's where you live. But yes, it was a fun trip.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that we went. And that cruise ship, by the way, my 15th, when I went on, I had this flashback. I was sitting in this theater with Laura one day, and I had this flashback to my junior year of high school. We took a junior class cruise, and it was the same ship. Like, I was like, I've been here before.
Oh, wow.
And I suddenly recognized
And they had not updated
I had
it.
not updated anything.
Same carpet.
And it had been like 20
I
years.
left
yeah.
that stain. I threw up there.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So we did Bahamas.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Johnny. The coolest thing, we wanted to swim with the dolphins, and that was all. It was one of the excursions.
Yeah.
And they were.
That means
all-
they add things to
Yes.
it. You go, hey, look at this. For all this one price, you can do all this. Now, if you want to do something cool, $5,000 more. How do you feel?
Now, if you want a cup,
Who's a good dad?
if you want a cup to put that drink in, then it's going to cost you. Yeah.
Right. The drinks are free, but the cups are $10 each.
So we got off and went to what was called Blue Lagoon Island.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I mean, like the true blue and green water. I mean, the whole thing.
So it's clothing optional.
And,
I've seen the movie.
Bro, let me tell you something. I am
It's weird
burned.
because your family was all
I'm
together.
badly burned. Anyway, we went in and we wanted to do the swim with the dolphin thing, and they were all sold out. And so
the dolphins go.
Dolphins are like, we're
enough.
done. That's all I'm
We're
going
not
to give
taking
for
any more.
today. They're very smart, Jonnie. Everyone says it. They keep budgets.
Somebody tries to cut line. Not so fast.
That's dolphin for not so fast.
Yeah.
The noise the dolphins did make, I mean, it sounded like I thought a child was either screaming in peril or in anger from the other side, because it's all in the same spot. But we then settled for, quote unquote, swimming with sea lions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know you swam with them. I've seen the photos that you posed with a sea lion.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Sea lions superior to dolphins.
Yeah.
Like
more personality.
Well, so I learned a lot. So the difference between a sea lion and a seal, so they're cousins. Seals, and they taught the sea lion, by the way, how to show us what the seal does. This is how well the sea lions could be trained. They're like dogs.
Yeah.
They have the flippers, but they can stand up on them.
Yeah.
On their front, so they can walk around on all fours. So they would climb up on this. You saw the picture. They'd climb up on this platform and let you sit down in front of them.
They kiss you on the face.
And they would say, all right, give him a hug. And he takes his flappers and gives you a hug.
Oh.
And they say, all right, go aw, and he put his head like on your head, or his chin on your head. All right, stick out your tongue for the picture. Okay, give him a kiss. Gives you a kiss right on the cheek. Okay, clap. Like she, her name was Bonnie. Bonnie had like 100 different trained tricks she could do.
They give her a fish every time.
Not every time, but in between. Yeah.
She knows the fish is coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they give me one too. And, I was
that's
like,
neat.
Thanks. It was great. So.
That's great. It's very handy.
But it was like, now they did say, if you meet a sea lion in the wild, don't come anywhere near them. They will catch you on land and sea. They'll bite your fingers off, and they're super. But this one's born into captivity. When that'll preach, won't it, Jonnie?
So this would have been trained.
Yeah.
So your defenses go down. You're like, look, it's just like the one we saw on the boat. And like a barracuda just takes
it really
up.
is.
Good
Don't
grief.
mess. Like if you see a dolphin in the wild, you're probably fine.
Oh man.
If you see a sea lion. Now, I didn't know sea lions. This is probably speaking to my ignorance.
Lions in the name.
Right. Oh my goodness.
These things are lions of the sea. That's different than chicken of the sea. That's
I feel
tuna.
that they chose the wrong animal to call the lion of the sea. Because have you seen one?
Yeah,
they're all smooth.
They look like little Labradors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have little ear flaps. So that's one thing. Seals don't have that. They have just like holes. The seals don't have the front flippers.
We're learning so much today.
So the seals have to push themselves. They just kind of push themselves with their back flippers, and they slide. And so they taught the sea lion how to show you how a seal does it. So you can see the
I
difference.
saw your wife and daughter yesterday when we came to church, and I was like, how was the ship? And Curry and Laura goes, so good, so good. And immediately Sadie goes, the sea lion farted in my dad's face. She could not wait to tell me that the sea lion farted on you.
She also told me your reaction was less than, like you didn't find it super funny. She's like, Uncle Jonnie was just kind of like, oh, what did you say? You said something like,
like I said, like that sounds about right.
Right, or something like, well, that happens or something, I think she was wanting you to be like, oh my gosh,
they do
bravo. Yeah, she wanted you to clap like a sea lion.
And then she gives me a fish.
Right.
I'm sorry, Sadie. I'm sorry. It was early. Church is early for me. I got up.
Yeah.
I got up at 9. I was at church at 10. I wasn't in the zone, Sadie. I apologize. It's a great story. Well, you could tell she was sitting on that. So she was like, I'm telling everybody I see today that I had a sea lion farted in my
And
head.
it did. So when you get down on this platform in the water, and the sea lion
was that part of the tricks? Was it like now release? Like they just and then another fish.
Well, they have toenails
Okay.
that look like human toenails.
All right.
That's not the difference between them and seals. Mm-hmm. And so like they'll tell Bonnie, and she'll turn around, back up to you, where you can like see her flippers and toenails and stuff.
Yeah.
And so while we're doing that, it was like, Sadie, it was classic.
Yeah.
Of course, the trainer's real funny. She's like, well, you were touching her butt, so I don't know what you want. Like it was and then at the end, she comes up and hugs you. Like she stands on the platform and hugs you.
And you're like, not now.
No.
Not anymore.
She wouldn't. I was the first one in line. She wouldn't hug me. Like She kept saying this. She's like, Bonnie has attitude, guys. So sometimes you tell her to do something, she would just sit there and look at her.
She's sassy. She's a teenager.
Yeah, there's very much that. And so she was supposed to hug me as the first one in line, and like it took her like 4 tries, and she wouldn't do it. I was like, this is just like high school all over again. That's what I said, and they all got a good laugh. And I was the belle of the ball.
You were. That's great. I was watching last week's episode to make the intro with Dave Barnes, too. That was fantastic. It was great having them, Dave and John.
Yeah.
And too many Johns on
There's
that
a lot
show.
of Johns.
Too many Johns, but 3 Johns and a Dave. That's our new sitcom. But one thing I wanted to say was that I said something like Dadaville, and then I said, because I know we have people who correct our show, I said that I tried going on, I couldn't get on Dadville, but I went on Dadaville, and it's a philosophy podcast. Dada is an art. It's a form of art. It's surrealist art. It's not philosophy. So just in case someone wants to listen to that episode and try to correct me, I realize now that Dadaism is a surrealist kind of art, not philosophy.
I think you may be giving our listenership a little too much credit.
You're right
now.
You're right.
Because if they listen to us, the odds of them really...
Well, I just think that episode may be listened to by more people than our normal listenership because it's got them on it. And then they're going to be like, these guys don't even know what Dada is.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, their listenership is probably very similar to ours.
Are you saying our listeners are dumb, John?
Jonnie, I'm saying we're dumb.
I'm saying we shouldn't have to say it.
So since we're dumb and they listen to us, what does it say about them?
I don't know.
Also, be a patron.
Yeah. But anyway.
You can support our dumb
So
show.
while you were on a boat, I was grinding in the clubs, bro. I did club shows. I did 5 club shows this last weekend.
Wow.
With that Indian comic, Veer Das.
Yeah.
That I was telling you about.
How was he?
It was fantastic. And a sweetheart of a guy. Just a great guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing because when you think about it, he's super famous where he lives, and he's trying to like cut his teeth in the States. He's got a good following here too, really good. But he's just like talking about going to the Comedy Store and going to the Comedy Cellar in New York, and just like you have to get past there. Like they have to tell you that you're a real boy, basically, and that you can get regular spots there. You have to audition. So it's like you show up there. He goes, you show up there, you got 8 million Twitter followers. They don't care. They're just like, let's see what you got. And you do a 5-minute set.
Wow.
And so he was just talking about it like, this is what you do. I want to be with the best. The American comics are the best comedians, and I want to. So it's just cool to see that he wasn't like, do you know who I am in India? Like he was super cool and really funny. But it was interesting because his audiences were like, that these shows were like 80% Indian Americans. So it was like they were either here they came here to college and they got tech jobs and stayed or engineering jobs. And I mean, it's really fascinating. And so I was this is one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because I was like, I'm interested to see if my stuff translates.
Yeah.
And culturally, it was so funny to watch. Like, I did well. All the shows went really well, thank goodness. I was really relieved. But it was interesting to watch him get these gigantic laughs on this stuff that was very inside. It was almost like when I do comedy with church comics, and they have very inside baseball kind of church stuff that only really deeply entrenched church people would understand, which I have very few of those jokes in my show for a reason, because I don't want to be that guy. But this was like fascinating. Like he had this one joke about, because he did a speech at the Kennedy Center called The Two Indias. So he's kind of political in a way. Like his act was not political, but he has been outspoken on some things. And he got like branded a seditionist. He's like lawsuits against him. Wow. So he's like a little bit of an edgy, as far as a personality. He strikes a weird figure in his home country. So he said, they called me a soft terrorist on like 9 news networks.
Oh, wow.
He goes, the BBC said I divided a nation. And he goes, I divided a nation? Because, there's total imperialism and everything.
Right.
He goes, let me tell you something. And then he dropped a MF. But then he said, let me tell you something. When I finished my performance, they went to the lobby. When you finished your performance, we went to Pakistan. I was like, wow. And the crowd lost their mind.
Wow.
It was just so interesting to see the different styles. But he was really fascinating and such a cool guy and really funny. And it was a great weekend. So I did those shows. And then I did a show for Dry Bar on Tuesday at Zany's. And it was a full house, really cool. And I got to meet the president of Dry Bar. Which,
nice. Mr. Bar.
Mr. Bar.
Yeah.
And it looks like I'm going to get to shoot another Dry Bar taping.
All right, man.
So, in April. So that's exciting. Out in
Utah?
Provo, Utah.
Yeah.
At Dry Bar Studios.
Wow.
So that'll mean more content, more great content for you, the fine listeners and viewers.
Well, your last one was top 10 for last year.
Guys, I don't even know how we can.
I mean,
how do you get any better than that?
I mean, top 5 maybe. It's top.
Why do you?
I'm very proud.
Why do
of
you got to
Jonnie.
do this?
I'm very proud.
Every
of you.
time you do this. But then I did a thing in. I was at Opryland Hotel for the NRB. I did a dry bar thing there.
Yeah.
And so that was. I did that as like, hey, I'll do this for the dry bar people, because it was really like the NRB was just like not exactly my cup of tea, but it was great. Everybody was sweet to me there. It was fun. But it reminded me, I was walking by, and because I parked in the non-paid at the mall.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And just walked the mile to
Oh, yeah.
get to the hotel, because I'm like, I'm not paying $25
No.
to park here. And so, and I'd live to regret it because it's freezing and drizzling and whatever. So I was like, ugh. But I walked by the place where they do the ice, every. Have you ever taken Sadie to that? You guys go?
My dad used to take the kids,
Yeah.
the grandkids to that. Yeah.
So it reminded me of like, so when the kids sometimes come, my nieces come in sometimes for Christmas the week after. And so the week between Christmas and New Year's, I was like, oh, this is great. And they had just started fostering Nettie, my niece, who's now 5.
Yeah.
But she was basically a newborn. She was like a month or two old. And they're still doing that weird swaddling thing where she's strapped to you, you know what I'm saying? They got that thing that she's just on there all the time. And I go, well, there's this thing, because Hayden, my niece, was like 10 or 11 at the time. And I was like, we could all go to this thing, this ice thing. And I got his tickets and blah, 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 and it's great. And I was just trying to be the good uncle. And then we get in there. I didn't realize it's like 20 below because they have to keep, you're in a freezer.
Yeah.
I took a newborn as an uncle into a freezer.
Yeah.
And
That's not a good.
we're putting on these parkas, and she's like underneath. They're wrapping.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
Tara, my sister-in-law, she's wrapping and she's just kind of, this is fine. I'm just like, this baby is going to get hypothermia, and I'm the worst uncle ever.
You don't care
because I wanted to show him the Grinch in ice form. But it's a deep freezer. Well, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like you're taking kids into the freezer.
You should have thought it
Take
through.
better care of your kids.
Like, when did you first realize that your whole way of thinking is sadistic and like that you don't care about children?
Right now.
This is it. This is the moment it happened. This began Johnny's life of an insidious crime.
This
way.
intervention, that's fine. I don't know.
Anyway, it's been coming a long time.
So it's time for us to talk about the falls.
Yeah, and we're going to actually put a button on here that
Like a warning.
Yeah, whenever we talk about sports, because our good friend Roy, who doesn't do sports at all,
Yeah.
anytime on staff we talk about sports at all, he always says, "Oh, we're talking about sport ball."
Sport ball.
So we're gonna make a sport ball, like a warning kind of thing. So if you're listening, what we aim to do is to make sports accessible. Like if you don't like it,
There's
you're
not
like,
enough access to sports. Is that what you're saying?
Like, no, it's like, you know what? I didn't like sports before, but after listening to Jonnie and John,
Your nuanced opinions.
Yeah,
which we do have a different take on things sometimes, because you are
oh, here we go.
a very, what I would call myopic Vols fan.
Wow.
You think that the world is out to get us.
No,
and that
you-
nobody.
You were a devil's advocate because yesterday.
I'm not just being a contrarian though. I really knew that we were going. Everybody in the whole thing said the Vols are probably going to get a 3 seed and they're going to be upset.
Everything I heard was 2.
No.
Here's
Well,
the thing.
Nardi was saying it right after we won the SEC championship. He goes, they're still going to be on the 3 line.
You were agreeing with me
The
yesterday.
Vols got a 3 seed yesterday. If you
You
don't
were
know,
agreeing with
everybody.
me yesterday.
Even after winning the SEC championship.
They won. Okay, let's stop there because I hate that the biggest event in Tennessee basketball probably in 40 years is eclipsed now by their seeding the same, because Selection Sunday happens the same night as the championship game.
Right.
The University of Tennessee Volunteers men's basketball team
Right.
won the SEC tournament, which they have not done since 1979.
It was amazing. It was great.
I was 4 months old, Johnny,
Yeah.
whenever we won this the last
Coincidence?
time. Maybe. So someone asked me if I remembered. I was like, absolutely, I remembered. And so that means Allen Houston, a Hall of Famer.
Chris Lofton, all those great Bruce
Chris
Pearl teams.
Lofton, all the way through the Pearl teams with the Smiths and everyone.
Yeah.
Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. We had some amazing teams. Yeah. None of them have done what Tennessee pulled off yesterday with Coach Barnes. And so congratulations, University of Tennessee, to the Vols. And they're a great team, Johnny, to watch. They're
great. They play together. They make the extra pass. They're fun to watch. I totally agree. Best defensive team we've ever had.
Well, yeah, they're number 3 in the nation in defensive whatever the stats are,
Efficiency.
the metrics, but also their assist to shot ratio. I want to say yesterday it was 19 assists to 21 field goals made.
Yeah.
That's very uncommon.
Right.
Almost every field goal is an assist.
I want that preach. We need to be assisting each other.
Good gosh,
Don't go
guys.
ISO out there in the world.
No, we don't need you going one-on-one with the devil.
No.
Wait. Or
That really does preach, because it's like he sent them out 2 by 2. My mom used to always say that. Jesus used the buddy system. She would
did.
say that because I didn't want to go to the mall with my brother. I'd be like, I just want to go.
Mom, I think you're proof
No,
texting.
Jesus used the buddy system.
And he did.
So, and you need to
But-
hold hands. I'd be
but
like, we're 15, Mom.
But when she sent you, did she tell you to go do miracles and shake the dust off your feet if they don't accept you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't remember.
I would have brought that
I remember
up.
I did do miracles. But
And you came
most
back.
of them involved producing a gigantic corn dog
You came back to
after
your
I
mom
had given them.
with a Z Cavarici bag,
Oh, yeah.
and you were like, "You should have seen it, Mom. Even the rayon was obedient to us in Jesus' name, or whatever." And it's a weird story. So,
Anyway, all that said, we're excited about the Vols. John is upset about their seating. I kind of saw it coming because it's a TV show. They're going to choose the prettier. They're going to choose UK and Duke over us because it just is going to be better for fans.
see, I think the difference between me and you is
they have the resume over the course of the last 10 years.
this is very listen. This is a truth about me that's a
Yes.
problem, and it can be a strength. Mostly a problem
Yeah.
is that I am completely overwhelmed and unable to let go of major systemic changes that are needed in a way of thinking or the way something's structured.
So these systemic changes that you would want to see
What I
would
hear-
put the Vols at, what, a 1 seed?
No, a 2. A
You
2.
don't think we deserved a 1 after winning the SEC championship?
Wow,
Con?
see, Lord, I think that it would have been hard to knock any of the other 1 seeds out.
Yeah.
Okay. A 2,
I will say that our friend Larry, who is a Kentucky fan,
Uh-huh.
a rabid Kentucky fan, made this lamp for us. He was texting me
Uh-huh.
after the win. Great win. This is a great team. And then when the seeding happened, he said, "Vol Twitter is unusually salty tonight." He goes, "But we probably deserve it."
because Kentucky got a 2.
Kentucky
everybody.
got a 2.
And here's the thing, Kentucky,
Even though we beat them 2 out of 3 times.
We beat them 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
We had 0 quad 2 to 4 losses and like
Yeah.
7 quad 1 wins, or 11. How many
I don't
was
even
it?
know what the quads are. No, but don't explain that.
It means
Nobody
the
cares.
quality of team that you beat or lose to. So
Just say that. Strength of schedule.
your strength of schedule was 4.
Uh-huh.
And Duke, who's a 2 seed, their strength of schedule is like 20.
I tore my quad 1 yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, getting out of bed too
pulled
soon.
it.
Yeah, I
Getting
slept
up.
wrong.
You're still on the floor in the mattress.
No, we're up. We're up a little bit high, but it's not as high as the other bed. We bought a platform.
Okay.
But he won't climb into it. We have the little steps. He gets up in it, Toby. We put the
We have the steps.
went
I
to
get it.
We went to the farmer's co-op near us. What was it called? Tractor Supply. And then we saw this thing, and it's steps that are plastic to get onto a horse.
Okay.
So humans use it to get up high enough to get onto the horse.
Yeah.
So I was like, this would be perfect. We don't have to build a set of steps. So we bought
And
that.
you could use them too.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, get into the cabinet, whatever. And so we put it up against the bed, and he gets in the bed like for a few seconds every night, and then he just goes, and then he gets in the floor.
Wow.
But it's for us. It's enough for us, I guess. But anyway, all that said, we're a little higher than we were. We're not on the floor, so I don't have to like I'm climbing out of a well. But
Not pulling your quad.
no, not
1.
pulling the quad.
Yeah.
Just the quad 2.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Vols.
Well, I'm just going to say
Yes.
is that on every metric,
Uh-huh.
our numbers are twice as good as Duke.
I don't know if twice. I agree with you.
No, I looked at the numbers. I'm telling you.
I agree with you that we deserve more respect than we got.
The problem
but
is
these kids can use this.
The problem
This is how you coach.
Here's the systemic issue with what you said.
Yeah.
You said that Duke deserves this more for the last 10 years or whatever. What does that have to do? See, this is where it's a problem.
It is. It's more than
Just
stats,
because
though.
it's
the
Coach
committee in the
K's
room.
last season,
Right.
and it's
That's part of it.
this blue blood team, and
Right.
suddenly,
They want to see Coach K make the Final Four.
like, could you imagine if we judged games like that? If we're like,
But there are a lot of judgment calls in games, too.
technically Tennessee scored more points, but you know what? Duke's been really good the last 10 years. We're going to go ahead and award the win to Duke. That's basically what they just did. Because seeding really, really matters. Like your path to the if there's a path to the final, it's almost like elections. Like you may not think that Rhode Island or Delaware or whatever, that those little states matter, but there's a formula. And it really does. That's why they call them swing states. They may have a very few number of electoral votes, but it's a huge number when compared to everything else. The path, like Kentucky has the easiest path right now to the Final Four, most people think. And they didn't even win the SEC. They didn't win the regular season or the tournament game.
So you think this is a corrupt, fraudulent process?
I'm saying I don't understand it, and I want someone on the committee to come on the podcast.
You're the Mike Lindell of
I am not the
bracketology.
Mike Lindell. I will say
That he has really comfortable pillows.
my wife is searching right now for alternative My Pillows.
Oh, wow. Is there a...
I was like, what are they, our pillow?
Is there like a
Your
progressive...
pillow?
Is there like a more progressive...
I don't know.
It's a more centrist pillow?
Because they don't last forever, and I'm
No.
going to need one. I have sleep issues. I didn't sleep at all last night.
You say pillows don't last forever. I've got pillows that need desperately to be retired.
Bro,
They
do it.
are flat. They're
Yeah.
not good. And then when you take the case off them, you're like, ooh, are we producing syrup out of our mouths at night? What is happening to these pillows?
Speaking of, I only wear a dress shirt.
Was I murdered in my sleep? This is not a stain I am comfortable having on a pillow.
Do you get the stains around your collar and your dress shirts, like your white dress shirts?
John, I don't wear white dress shirts.
I don't either. Like once or twice a year for a funeral or a wedding now do I wear a dress shirt. And the other day for the cruise, I take out the white dress shirt that I haven't worn.
Bring around the
in-
collar.
It looks as if, again, someone took shoe polish.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what is coming
Maybe you
off of me?
sweat a lot when you're doing these high-profile events where you're dressed up nice,
But it just
and so it
sits
creates
there
like a little
and-
stain. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, like she had to take OxyClean and she got it cleaned out. But
Not a sponsor.
it was, it worked, guys.
That guy, he knew what he was talking
And you
about.
can wash your MyPillow, by the way,
Okay.
and dry it. But I don't think it's ever the same. But honestly, I got to stop supporting insurrection. So we need to find a way to get another pillow. Also, I want to sleep.
We need to make our own company, like a Christian pillow, thy pillow.
Thy pillow. Yes.
You could reach the same kind of people who would buy my pillow,
Right.
but they think, oh, this is even more
This is thy
godly.
pillow.
This is thy pillow.
Yeah. Wow. When thou need a good night's sleep.
When thou
You
needest
yeah.
when thou needest rest.
We could, come unto me, all you who are weary
Yeah.
and heavy laden.
When you're ready to lay down in green pastures
Oh,
and
my
restore
God.
your soul,
Come on.
reach for thypillow.com.
Thypillow. Guys, we're doing it
Somebody's buying that domain right
now. Yeah. Because they want to stop us from making the
They
millions.
probably should.
I have had multiple $1 million ideas. We talked about it.
Yeah.
But literally, guys,
Some of them have already happened, though, right?
no, that's what I'm saying. I thought of Memoji.
But you didn't do anything to make
No,
it.
no. I tried.
Okay.
I met with an app developer.
Yeah.
I met with everyone tech that I could.
Do you think that app developer took your idea and then ran
I don't know.
with it?
All I know is Apple now
That's the
has
thing.
Memoji, and
That's the
someone's
thing.
making $1
Remember when we were
billion.
kids and you'd see those invention sites, they'd be like, you got an invention? Send your idea to us, and we'll send you an envelope, and you mail it to us, and
Right.
then we'll take your idea. And I'd be like, you'll
take my idea.
Yeah.
It was like that time that guy in Knoxville was like, hey, can you write all your song lyrics on this
right,
sheet,
I
on
remember-
this letterhead? And I was like,
remember
does that mean that I'm publishing my songs with you? He was like, well.
It's like, why do people always ask me that? He was like, he got irritated with you when you wouldn't do it.
He was like, yeah, but I was like, I'm not doing that. What do I, and I didn't, Johnny. And you know what those songs have
You
done.
shook his hand, it burned.
And you listen, and I stand by the results of my long, illustrious songwriting
Listen,
career.
you didn't sell out.
Nope,
And
I didn't
we
sell
and our show
anything.
and our shows didn't either. We could not get people to come listen
My
to our
soul.
music.
No songs, and did not sell my soul. In keeping my soul, also, I kept a sense of poverty.
But don't you feel better in that poverty? Don't you feel like a sense of superiority over other poor people?
It's weird. I feel nothing. So, my favorite lines in The Office, said he was watching The Office in the night, is when he's in Michael Scott Paper Company. And, okay, what was the boss that came in during that time? He's the British actor.
Oh,
What was his character name? Charles.
okay.
Remember Charles?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Charles.
Idris Elba.
Thank you. Gesundheit. I don't know. What did you say?
Idris Elba, he's like
that's his name. Okay.
Yeah, that's his name.
And so he came in and he goes, Michael, I want you to leave the employees alone. Stop coming into the office and talking to them. Do you understand? And he looks at him and he goes, I understand nothing. That's my new go-to line right now. So
That's good.
If Laura goes, hey, do you understand? I'm like, I understand nothing. Which is
Can
kind
you
of true.
declare bankruptcy and then storm out?
Gosh, it's so good. Sadie asked me, do you think that's Steve Carell's most famous character? I was like, by far.
Yeah. It's amazing that he was able to escape it, honestly.
Yeah.
To go on to do other things.
Yeah.
Because, he has done so many other cool things And, he's done the Despicable Me movies and he's done the other things, but it's like he was able to get out from under the shadow of that. And that's really, I think he got out in the nick of time. I think he knew.
Have you watched Space Force?
I've seen season 1. I'm not seeing season 2. Season 1 was just okay. Season 2.
Yeah, it's just.
I'll give it another chance.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
I watched one episode of season 2, and it's just okay.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like the whole idea was kind of making fun of the idea of a space force, and now I think has it become more important? I don't know. Like people acting like no, space force is like legit.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea of like satirizing it was like, what kind of stupid person would focus on this? That we need a military force in space, and now we're like, no, I don't. You don't know what you don't know what we know. Maybe that's the truth. Is what if our things like the government's like, no, just trust us on this. We need a space force.
What if we don't know what we don't know? Like, wow, come on now. And the funny thing is that show For All Mankind that came out at the same time, which is an actual drama.
That always happens in Hollywood. There'll be like two very similar things.
Yeah.
Like Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
Then you had the two volcano movies, Dante's Peak and Volcano.
You had the two Wyatt Earp movies.
Yep. Wyatt Earp and Tombstone.
Which I don't think I ever watched Wyatt Earp.
It was 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Is it Kevin Costner? He was in that period of like, you know what? And now, if you notice this bothers me. Every movie feels like it needs to be 3 hours now. Like I went and saw this movie with Channing Tatum, where he's got to take a dog that's like being retired from the military. It's really like heartwarming. It was like an hour 40 minutes, and I was like, this is a movie. You remember when a movie was like an hour and 40, you had your day left?
Yeah.
Now it's like everything has to be an epic. You're like, every movie I watch now, including like the new Batman, which I liked, but I was like, it's 30 minutes too long.
Wow.
I liked it, and it's too much. It's like when you eat ice cream and you're like, I'm going to finish this, but this is not good for me. I should have stopped. I shouldn't have put this much in the bowl.
Yeah.
They put too much ice cream in the bowl.
But unlike ice cream, you could just stop eating. But the movie, if you just stop watching, you don't know how to end it.
What am I?
You got to,
What are you
and technically,
I've
never stopped eating on ice cream. On the cruise, Laura's like, I had the plate, and then I'd be eating. Because, you get all these different course options.
Yeah.
So, of course, Sadie doesn't eat much. It's like, well, I got to try that. I mean, I'm here. This is all paid for, So I end up eating off of everyone's course. And she's like, you don't have to eat all of it. I was like, you don't understand me at all.
Yeah.
Like, how many years do I have to be married before you, don't eat it all? Like, I'm the captain of the Clean Plate
Remember
Club.
the cones, the ice cream cones used to be called Eat It All. That was the brand name on the cone. It was like stamped on it.
They started the movement.
It was like, it's subliminal messaging for kids. There's like, you're eating the cone, you look down, you're eating the ice cream, eat it all. It's like, it sticks in your head. Clean Plate Club.
Yeah.
That was the thing when we were kids.
Yeah.
Clean Plate Club.
Yeah. Bro.
Also known as diabetics.
Man, if I could stop
Missing
eating.
Foot Club. Come on, man. We're teaching. Yeah, we are. We do. We teach kids to like, you get a little reward if you. And I get it because some kids like they won't eat when they're little kids. They're finicky and they take 2 more bites. 2 more bites, buddy. I've seen that move.
Yeah.
They want to eat gummy bears. You eat 2 more bites of your peas and you can have one gummy bear.
Right.
And that's you do a little
you're
trade off.
Teaching them. If you overeat, you can have dessert.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, but I'm full. No, you shove more of this food in, and then I'll give you treats.
And then you can shove more food in that's even worse for you.
Yeah. I don't think we've proven that gummy bears are bad.
Have we proven that they're good? No. What have we proven at all?
I think they're inert.
I haven't read any recent studies on gummy bears.
I think they're inert. It's just like the internet, John. It's not good or bad. No. It's a tool in the hands
of an angry population. Yeah, it was great having you here Sunday.
It was great to be here. What a great service.
I thought it was a great service.
I did too.
I mean,
that's one of my favorite ones that I've ever been to at this church.
Man, well, number one, our new worship director got to co-lead. They're not technically here yet. She's unbelievable, Abby, and man,
she was fantastic. I thought she sounded like Miley Cyrus. I told our group that at lunch. I don't know if anybody else heard it, but I heard Miley Cyrus in there.
That's great.
Yeah,
I mean, she is a great piano player.
Yeah,
she was playing in B.
I don't know what that means. What is that? Is that a tip of difficult?
In B, I mean, again, all the piano players who are really piano players are listening like, oh, it's easy. But like, if I'm going to play a song in B, and I do a lot of songs in B right now, I'm going to transpose that keyboard or put a capo on my guitar. Like, you wouldn't play in B without capo, would you?
No,
on a guitar?
Not on guitar.
You'd play lead or whatever, but you wouldn't, like, if you were trying to carry all the chords.
The chords are not as fun.
especially if it's like a hymn, because we did that one, that Shane and Shane song, that My Portion, and it has a chord over every word because it's a modern hymn, you know. And so, dude, she was a pro. She was great,
really
so
great,
kind, and did a great job.
They're sweet people. I've not met her husband yet,
Jake.
who's the new youth pastor.
Yeah, they met with the kids last night, so they're transitioning right now out of where they are, so it won't be till April to their official all the way. But they're here at staff meetings, and we're doing some events with the kids and stuff. And she's going to lead some here and there, just to kind of get used to the band and what we're doing. But that was great. And then yesterday we talked about, obviously, just the tragedy in the Ukraine and gave options. And one of those I'm very close to, and I'd like to tell our
talked about
listeners
some charities to help with. Yeah,
Crisis Aid, guys. If you haven't, I posted on my Instagram. You can go check it out. Crisis Aid is an amazing organization. I wrote a book for their founder that comes out sometime this year. We're not sure when, but I am not lying when I say that some of the stories I wrote. His name is Pat Bradley, and you should follow Crisis Aid on Instagram. I'm not sure I've ever written stories like this in all the books I've done. Like, for the last 30 years or so, when there is something that goes wrong, natural disaster or humanitarian crisis, like Crisis Aid is one of the first on the ground at the point where people in the greatest need, at the greatest point of danger. So the tsunami, the earthquake in Haiti, and then after 9/11, the dude's just an ad agency guy. Like, he's not a professional. He's not a pastor or anything. He's like just someone that passionate, that God moved in his heart to refuse to do nothing. That's one of his things. I'm just going to refuse to do nothing about this. The dude hopped a plane, because where the book opens. He's in Pakistan, and he finds himself driving through, as all these refugees are fleeing because America is bombing Afghanistan, and he's taking relief supplies to a camp where people are out exposed in the cold. They're having to dig holes to try to get out of the cold. That's all they can do. All of a sudden, he's in Pakistan, and these trucks pull up, and these dudes get out with AK-47s and surround him and his partner. I mean, he's like, I've gone too far. And he's great. I mean, I'll let you read the book. And he's like, this is it, And he has if he has one of those stories, he has like 70 of them. It's crazy. And they're there, and he thinks, well, I'm about to die. And the translator finally talks to them and says, actually, they found out you were coming, and they're here to escort you because you won't make it. You won't make it there without them escorting you. The UN was dropping supplies about 2 miles away. They were afraid to go in because it's so dangerous. He went in and spent a month, 2 months in that camp, and was having, having dinner with their leaders because they're like, you're the only people that will come help us. And so, anyway, Crisis Aid is helping right now in the Ukrainian refugee crisis. And so, as well as Convoy of Hope are doing a lot of great things. So check out those organizations, guys. And it's just something we need to be aware of. But we talked about it yesterday, and I thought that was
great.
What the church should be doing,
Yeah, man, it was really cool. And then I just thought the whole service was good. And then your sermon was short. I was like, this guy gets it.
It was 20 minutes.
We were at the Mexican restaurant so fast.
Yeah.
Huge table. I mean, what I remember yesterday from church was the cheese dip was good. That's what.
Best service ever. Well, and so we also did a promo for our recovery.
Well, that's one of the reasons that you had a short sermon, because the service was devoted to some of that.
Right. So Jimmy, our friend Jimmy, if you ever watch him in our old videos, he was Clog the Bounty Plumber.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so it's got a huge flowing, would you call it a mullet? When he goes down to your butt, though.
It's a mullet.
It's down, is a big heavy metal guy, and he gave his story yesterday. It was just unreal.
It was really great.
Just unreal. And so we promoted that. But then we knew either I had to scrap it. Then we did a Bible Project video.
Yeah, you can't come off of that. And first of all, it's tough to follow.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy got a standing O.
Oh, it was great.
And then it was just a very deeply moving testimony. And then come off of that, there's a great video that you guys showed about, what was it? I mean, basically it was about equity and justice. Yeah. And so, what the Bible says about justice. And so then you come off of that, and I was like, if John comes out here and does a 45-minute sermon,
we're done.
This, I can't stay at this church. I love John. I'll keep doing the podcast, but we're going to move on.
Well, I'd already prepped it before I left, and Andrew and I had a lot of conversations when I got home. We could either push justice another week, because he'd read the notes.
Bro, won't
guys, it's not
we
what
have
we've
been doing that for.
Oh my goodness, and I said, look, this is actually a good exercise for me lately, because I did this the other day. Remember that 12-minute and 47-second sermon?
Yeah.
For Acts 2, 42 to 47, and it's actually really good for me.
Yeah.
So, because I do tend to
here's what I do. If I know I've got a 7-minute set to do, and sometimes I'll write out like, okay, here's the jokes I want to do. And then I won't even look at it to go like, is this 7 minutes of jokes? And I'll have like 14 minutes of jokes on that page. And then I'll start speaking faster. Do you ever find yourself doing that?
Yeah.
And sometimes when I get nervous, I'll speed up, and I'm already kind of a rapid fire comic anyway. And so it's not good. But I just wonder if you're in a position like that where you go, I need to keep this at 20 minutes. We need to be succinct here. If you go, but I got 40 minutes of content. Get ready. I'm fire hosing this.
I've done it plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you drown them in it. So I decided, like, I'm not going to tell a bunch of stories in between.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I'm just going to do it. And the thing is, without the video, I would have been less comfortable.
You left us wanting more, John.
I don't know if we did or not. I don't think I've ever left anybody wanting more.
I was like, oh, we're done here. Okay.
It was 20 minutes, and that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to go in for 20.
Yeah.
And I was praying at 20. So I'm not going to count the prayer because it's like 20:45 or whatever when I finished.
Boy.
I mean, all you people with legalism out there. But no, it was. But I think you have that, guys. If you haven't watched the Bible Project videos,
that was one of the best ones I've ever seen.
Oh, the way they did the almost cardboard box looking planes, being pushed up and down. It was talking about basically societal
privilege, and even if it's unintended or not your direct fault, but it's like you're benefiting from it.
Yeah, you're oppressing the vulnerable. It's kind of the way it's the downstream of the fall of man is oppressing those, especially the vulnerable.
And even people who were oppressed then go on to oppress others.
Right. It kind of leaves. I mean, it gave a great picture of how it works on an individual and a societal level, and then also how we're all a part of it.
Yeah, we need to link that video in the notes. I'll link it when I put the intro out.
Yeah, so great. But, that video makes it where I'm comfortable to not have to say everything I want to say.
No, it's great. And I think more churches need to use that because I think we got into a time in churches where it became all about programming, and it was like basically just prepackaged.
Yep.
And then you got into a backlash against that where it's like, I'm not using any content except for like what I got, directly from the manna from heaven.
Yeah.
And then you just have a guy talking for 45 minutes with no help.
Yeah.
That got real stale. So I think you got to have a balance.
You do.
But I agree with you about a video saying some things. I think that's one of the reasons I'm brought in sometimes to talk to churches is I can be funny, but I can also hit a couple of issues that the pastor wishes he could.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can say it in a funny way, but I've had pastors say it to me. I'm really glad that you said this one thing. And I'll be like, oh, that's just a thing I've been doing for years. And they go, yeah, but I can't say that here.
Bro, Reggie and I did a video for a church. I need to go find it. I think they've used it. It was going to be their Sunday morning. It was like a 40-minute interview they did with us. They were video, Zoom. And he kept asking me questions. Mm-hmm. Normally on those, we know what we're going to talk about, And, man, he started down some of the lines, and it was a white church, some of the lines of how this is hitting people ideologically on the political spectrum. And I read I was reading a book, and it talked about the fact that there was a prediction by someone, a theologian or social scientist or someone, that a post-Christian society, and so what we mean by post-Christian is it's not without Christian values.
Yeah.
It means it once held to Christian values or at least stated that that's what it was. And then you come to a place where now we no longer say we need Christ, but we still hold to some of the Christian ethics and morals, but we define them for ourselves. But we know there's a line.
Right.
But everyone's line's at a different place.
It's like a God of our own making.
Right.
Yeah.
But it comes out of the fact that society used to, try to have a line that
there's like echoes of it.
And I'm not one of those people that thinks everything in our past was some like Christian utopia. I think that's a complete rewrite of history.
Right.
I do think that there was an acknowledgement of God or Jesus' ways that wasn't always lived, but was seen as a line. Mm-hmm. And they missed that line a lot. I mean, they did that at the same time that, they were oppressing black and brown people with no conscience within of that being something that would go against God's ways. Certainly the secret sins, the idea that you hide your sin so that you look the part. I mean, that's not at all a Christian value. But the post-Christian, the prediction was once people still try to cling to some level of morality as they define it. And again, the greatest sin right now is judging another.
Yeah.
Like that's where most of the line is. How dare you? I get to choose. This is my authentic self.
Right.
And now the new value system is
They'll condemn you for being judgmental.
Right. The new line is no longer to become something because a higher power is helping you move forward to it.
Yeah.
So by denying certain parts of your the term scripturally be flesh, but certain parts of that sort of animalistic part of you that has just reactions, like my dog sees a rabbit and doesn't go, I wonder how that rabbit's day was. Maybe I shouldn't chase him. Like he's just
Right.
going to chase. But a human, we see something in life, whether it's, a person of another, of the opposite gender that we're attracted to, whether we see something in traffic that we can be angry to, like we have a moment to go, I can empathize. I can know,
Right.
hey, that's a human, or that's a person having a bad day, or so we get to reason. And the whole point of that is how we reason now has changed to the new value is my goal in life is not to become someone different than I am by outside, help and through community. My goal is to be my authentic self.
Right. Self-actualization.
Right. That's the new sort of goal. Become your authentic self. And it is a sin. Now back to the morality. It is considered almost a sin in this culture that would use that word to deny someone or to speak out to say, maybe I don't want to become authentic self, or maybe the authentic self you're becoming is not the best goal for you.
Right. I want to rise above that. They're like, why? You're not being yourself.
Yeah. Be true to yourself. Most fascinating thing is the expression, the heart wants what it wants. Do you know where it came from? Woody Allen.
I remember he said that. I was going to say Woody Allen because I remember he said it after the Sun Yi thing.
Yep. Literally, even today, the fact that he married his stepdaughter, was having a sexual affair with his stepdaughter when she was way underage.
Right.
Eventually married her. Even today, most people have a line, they go, wow, he crossed something there. It's uncomfortable. And in one of the interviews, he said, well, the heart wants what it wants. And somehow, out of that thing that most people I know would still...
We're grossed out by.
Right. Somehow that became a mantra.
It's crept in now where it's a good thing now to say.
Yeah.
Well, the heart wants what it wants.
Yeah, it's like osmosis into society, and we all go, well, yeah, that's the standard of how we evaluate how we're going to live.
I don't love
and it
that.
came from something that most of us would still reject. And so you get into this idea of the post-Christian prediction was once that goes downstream, what will emerge is a religion of politics. That's literally what they said.
Right.
It will be a religion of politics because because Christianity historically is marked by the way that you treat your enemies. Mm-hmm. So we've removed that part of the Christian morality. So now we can say how you speak, how you vote, how you care about certain subsets of people, but not others. And a lot of those things are good. They're a part of morality and even Christian informed morality. But you remove like the central tenet of it all.
Yeah.
Which was, honestly, how we care in community for one another and the way that we treat one another is what the world will see.
Yeah.
And specifically those who disagree with us or want to harm us, we're supposed to serve them. In fact, and we're not supposed to be, if you're the greatest leader, you're supposed to be the first one to serve.
Yeah, it's like we pick and choose. We want to take the grace from the New Testament for ourselves, but we want to go Old Testament on our enemies.
Boom.
Yeah. We want to still live out that side of it. No, we have to destroy the Amalekites.
Right.
Or the Democrats.
Right.
Or whatever.
Or whoever
the perceived enemy is.
Yep.
They have to be utterly destroyed because they're a threat to us.
Yes.
So we're still we're not living completely under the grace mindset if we're
No.
Yeah.
Well, we believe they need it more than us. They're not taking it.
Right.
So therefore they've rejected it. And so the new religion, as predicted, for a lot of people, and it's still called Christianity often, but it is wrapped up in, and I don't just mean a governmental political stance, but it's political ideological tribes.
Yeah.
Now I identify more.
Well, you're identifying by what you do and what you believe versus what you have received from God. In other words, it's like that's the whole thing. Wasn't it Plato versus Aristotle? You are what you continually do versus you are. You know what I'm saying? Like
you do what you continually are.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. It's like that juxtaposition of their different schools of thought. And but it's so funny because you see people like that are like politically very left, but then I'll see like their Instagram and they'll be like influencers and they're talking about like bettering themselves constantly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's weird. It's like they're in dissonance with each other.
Right.
I gotta find my authentic self, but also like I train every day because you can't take a day off because you have to make yourself into this thing that you're not. And it's like, okay, it's real. It's interesting. And I think we all have those things. We all have those cognitive dissonances within us, for sure.
Yeah, but American society or Western society in general, I think, is grappling with those tensions, these two things of our history informing us, even if we reject it, it still informs for us a methodology, like you said, of self-improvement that we also deny or that we only take in silos.
Yeah.
I will improve myself physically. I will not tolerate a bad relationship. It's not worth working on.
If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Right.
So even though that person may be trying to be their authentic self,
Yeah. You meet people's authentic self.
Well, your authentic self is a jerk, and so I've decided you're not good enough.
You're toxic now. Yeah. Right. And we cut you out.
Yeah.
When like the way of Christ is way more nuanced and the formation, spiritual formation happens over lifetime.
Yeah.
Not over minutes. It happens over, and it's an amazing book, and I'll talk about it later, but it talks about how we've used the cross now as this, and when we teach, it's like, guys, Jesus went to the cross so that you don't have to, and that is true for eternity. But scripturally, Jesus went to the cross for us on earth so that we can also go to the cross, just not the literal cross. But he's constantly calling you to a place of a death of one thing so that another thing can live.
Right, laying down your own wishes and your own desires.
But it's so offensive now to say that there may be instincts or things within me that I need to fight against or reject. No. And I'm telling you, bro, that's the slope. The slope is if I live my life thinking it's repression to deny myself something. Mm-hmm. And repression's a greater sin now than oppression.
Right.
Or just as much to people. Like, no, don't do that. Don't tell someone they shouldn't do what they feel.
Oh, sure. It's like Adele was like this big symbol for people who are heavier because she was this big star and has this great voice. And then she decides to get healthy and lose the weight. And I saw groups like shaming her for getting thin, for taking control of her own health. She was like, I needed to get healthy. And I took a year and just like during the pandemic and just like ate right and did this thing and got with a trainer and I lost the weight. And they're like, she blew it.
Right.
Like people were thin shaming her.
Yeah.
It's like, what in the world? What are we doing?
Well, and again, it's I'm okay with you finding your authentic self until it is offensive to my authentic self.
Yeah, it made me uncomfortable with the choices I'm making, maybe, or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm not like a figurehead for you now. I'm not your weird puppet for whatever your lifestyle is. It's so strange.
And I know that the legalistic far right, or some things that we grew up in, has often abused the standards, manipulated them for the gain of power, control, or for the oppression of certain people groups, whether it be women or people of color, and not all with bad intention. Mm-hmm. But that has been a result of systems that I've been a part of. So I'm not taking anyone down. I'm saying, hey, we can be honest enough to look at that. But the flip side is what we've done is we've removed a fixed point.
Yeah.
And a fixed point is sort of the key for everything.
Right. We're kind of untethered.
Yeah. You don't know what to tie off to. So you're tying off to whatever looks right to you. And it may not be, or it's not. So a fixed point says, and that's what that Justice video did such a great job of yesterday. It's like, if you're a panda and you have twins, it is perfectly normal in nature for you to throw one away to care for the other. Mm-hmm. But if you're a human and you do that, someone's going to consider that unjust or wrong or right and wrong. And why is it that regardless of your religious culture, and there are exceptions, I know, in the world, in extreme cultures over time, that have kind of redefined some codes or ethics according to a morality that over time made sense. But foremost across the board, regardless of the religious proclivities, there is a sense of right and wrong. Like almost in all cultures, stealing and murder are going to be considered wrong.
Well, I'm a twin, so I'm glad that my mom was not a panda.
Wow.
I may just say that.
Because you think you'd have been the one thrown away.
I got a bad feeling I would not have made it. I was not the cute baby.
And you know what, listener? We are so glad that you made it this far.
Even though it's a fallen world in which someone can give Tennessee a 3 seed and say to themselves, the bracket wants what it wants. We hope that you won't fall into that thinking. That you'll root the Vols. By the time this airs, the Vols will have hopefully made it through the first weekend.
Oh my gosh!
So we could be talking about this, and they're like, "God, the Vols lost."
We're gonna face Villanova in the second round, probably.
We
Now, how can you be a high seed and face Villanova in the second round? We should be facing Wright State. You know.
How dare you besmirch Wright State?
Also, it looks as if Loyola may be in the same. We could meet Loyola again.
Sister Jean's
somewhere.
still hanging around?
I mean, they killed.
Did she pass away, Sister
No,
Jean?
she's still around. Pretty certain.
Wow, she's still kicking.
Pretty certain. Don't quote me on that, but I think she is. So
Rest in power, Sister Jean.
yeah, and again, they ruined. We always meet the Cinderella, Johnny. Now, what is that about?
Yeah, but the story becomes the team that we're playing.
Right.
Wichita State did it to us one year.
Yeah.
It's happened a few times. It's not going to happen. When this airs, we're going to be through the second round, or through the second. We're going to through the first weekend. We're going to be ready to go
In the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
And we'll probably meet.
I speak it.
We're going to
I named
meet
it. I claimed
Arizona in the Elite Eight if we can make it that far. Listen, this needs to be the Final Four year. It's
going to be
It
great.
needs to be the Final Four year.
Guys, check out all of our archive podcasts on talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
.com.
And the video ones are dropping on YouTube now. And please go subscribe to that channel. We're trying to grow that channel from scratch.
Yeah.
And so, listen, you could be a part of the groundswell, the grassroots movement that is the Talk About That podcast.
Yeah. And those subscriptions really make a difference for us to help grow the podcast.
They help more people find it.
Yeah, we have to diversify the way that we're reaching people. And so you don't have to stop. I mean, subscribe to both. The audio is still important. We had a lot. Downloads are way up last week.
Yeah.
So thank you guys
Don't make
for,
it either
for listening.
or. Listen.
If you hear something you like, send it to some friends. You know what? And I want to ask the listeners, especially the patrons and those who listen every week, do us a favor. When you hear something right now, whether it be funny or whether it be, some engagement of our conversation intellectually or spiritually, that really makes a difference to you, and you see like, man, that minute was something I want people to hear, hey, send us an email at talkaboutthatpodcast.com and let us know sort of that timestamp. Like when you guys talked about X at 24:30 or whatever. And we would love for you to help us choose the content that goes out.
We don't know what's good, you guys.
Right.
It's
all good to us.
We got nothing.
Or it's all bad to us. We're probably more likely to be people who listen to it and go, yeah, this is.
We are so grateful for you, our loyal viewers and listeners.
You sounded like the aliens on You Are Our Last Hope.
You are our last hope.
We are so grateful. That was Galaxy Quest. Sorry.
Yeah, it was more of an NPR, like, thank you for listening. And have some soup maybe today.
Yeah, don't forget to be kind to one another. Wash your hands.
Be kind to yourselves and each other.
And each other. Yeah. It's so good. And don't forget free pot holders at our website. We don't have any pot holders.
No.
So, but we serve a piping hot podcast.
One meal a week. That's all you need. It's intermittent.
Yeah.
It's very intermittent.
We're not intermittent fasting.
Please
schedule
eat more than once a week.
Of release. You should check out Jonnie, though. Like I said, he's about to record a new Dry Bar special, but you can watch his old Dry Bar special at drybar.com.
Yeah. And on the app and all that good stuff.
If you guys don't know, it was top 10 last year.
I think you said that earlier.
It's a big deal.
John, it's so good. What a great friend you are.
Man, well, I mean, you shouldn't have to say it.
Yeah.
I think that Johnny's metrics speak for themselves, but when they don't, I speak for them.
Do you think I'm a 2-line and they put me on the 3-line?
I really do believe that. I think you should be a 1 seed. Like,
that's really
I
nice.
think Johnny W. In fact, I'm not going to tell you because when it happens, I'm going to tell you afterwards. It's been really cool.
Yeah.
But there's something that me and Sadie pray for you. I'm just going
wow.
to leave it like that.
Look at that.
And then when it happens, I'm going to tell you what it is.
Did Sadie pray that a sea lion would fart in my face?
I think that could have been her dream. Like that could have been what revealed Jesus to her. Was like he listens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
It made her day. Out of all the things I paid for, it did. A sea lion farting in my face is
You
what
can't. These are
she'll take away
experiences, of course.
from the trip. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So you can also check me out on Instagram. My link tree is there, and it'll have all the stuff. There's a lot of new interviews out right now. If you miss my Jen
John's
Hatmaker
been making the
interview,
rounds on the podcast world.
man, it's been some really cool people we've met.
Hey, don't forget who the dance with the one who I don't know this.
I don't dance.
The heart
man.
wants what? No,
The heart dances with the panda that it wants. So yeah, check out all those interviews, especially Dadville. Which, if you like Dadville, our episode last week, go check out my interview on Dadville. It's there in my link tree. It'd be a great podcast for you to subscribe to as well after you've subscribed to talk about that.
Do ours
first,
first.
all that. And then if you want to support, you can go to our Patreon account.
Linked there at talkaboutthatpodcast.com. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. A big thanks to our producer in studio right now, who may not always be in here, but Jeffrey Holland. Also, you can check him out if you wanted to have some travel agency. Your greatest travel needs are met with Jeffrey Holland, Travelmation. And they would go to travelagentjeffrey.com. Wow. You should check it out. Huh?
At Travel Agent Jeffrey.
or at Travel Agent Jeffrey.
That's
Yeah.
man, he got in there, got those
did.
domains.
He did. That'll be the highest. Watch. That'll be the highest thing that gets.
That'll be
hits
the
we
thing,
have.
the bump, because everybody's wanting to go to Disney right now.
Jeffrey's the 1 seed now. So,
Jeffrey's a Disney specialist. He can take care of your family.
oh, let me tell you, the man knows.
You want to
Disney.
meet Snow White? You want to meet Mickey? You want to meet Minnie?
Not the characters, the real ones.
Yeah.
Jeffrey is an illusionist.
Yeah.
And
He can get you into the secret world.
that's right. Guys, thank you so much for spending the time with us again this week, and we'll see you next week on Talk About That.